in this video, we're going to focus on how we can create a margin right on our legend here. And I'm going to warn you, this one, it will be a very clever, tricky way. So it's a workaround, so it's not the most official way to do it. So, but at least we get the result which we desire. So let's start to explore how to add margin right on the legend in Chartjs. And what I want you to know, first of all, is we're going to use a clever workaround. So it's not 100% in an official way. Anyway, what we're going to do here now is we're going to grab here the chartjs3.com, getting started. This specific link you can also find in the description box. Then we're going to scroll down here to grab this default code, copy this, and if you want to understand what this code does, make sure you watch this video that explains it all. So we're going to paste that in there, and once I did that, I'm going to cut out here our title, and then just replace this title with that, save that, refresh. Alright, so now we have our bar chart here. It looks fine. The next thing what I want to do is I want to push this legend here on this right position here. So on the right side. So first of all, I'm going to say here plugins, because I want to pinpoint the legend itself. So we're going to do the legend object, and in the legend object we're going to say the following: position right. And this is of course a string, so make sure it's a string. Comma here, save that, refresh, there we are. Alright, so now we have this. And what I want to do now is I want to push it up as well. So it will look a bit more suitable. So I'm going to say here, comma, align. And then we can say here, start. Again, this is a string value, so save that. There we are. So now we have this, but what we want to do now is to have some space here, extra space, and more specifically we want to have space here. So we want to push this at the very end. So how do we do this? Well, for this, we're going to create a function, or sorry, not a function, but a plugin. So we're going to go in the options here, I'm going to say here a comma, and then what I'm going to say here is plugins again, bracket, and then here we're going to give it a name. So what will be the plugin name? We can say legend margin right. We're going to copy this. And then what I'm going to say here is the following: legend right plugin, and here I'm going to say here constant this equals, and then we're going to say ID, putting it again the legend margin right. Although we won't be using this, so it doesn't matter even if you put it or not, doesn't matter. What does matter is the following here. What we need here is the after initialization. So this basically means the following, because you have different drawing time, and what we need to know here is basically if we want to draw the chart, before drawing it, we need to get the space to recalculate here. Why? If you do it after the drawing, it already has drawn here, and the recalculation will not impact anymore with additional space. So initialization, you have before and after, and basically after initialize, you want to recalculate, and then from that recalculation, it will start to draw. So that's what we're going to do here, or that's basically here. And what we need here is 3 parameters. We're going to use chart, args, and options, although the last 2 are not necessary. But these are quite common defaults, these 3, so I'm just using them as a default. So next what I want to do here is I want to just show you the console log, so you have an understanding where are we going to dig deeper. So if I save this now and then refresh, alright, open up the developer tab, you can see here we get now this, and then if we look in here, we're going to go here to the legend. And what we're seeing here, if you scroll down here, you will see here the left side, and the left side stands for here 563, meaning the legend, because we're in the legend object, starts at left. That will be somewhere here, and that's 563, probably just exactly next to this line here. And what we need to do is we need to extend that. So we want this left to be reduced to 400. But to do this, all we have to do here is to play around with the width. Because you can see here, if we really calculate this plus the width equals a right side of 700, which is the full width of the canvas. So what I want to do here is just add here 100 pixels. So then the left will be recalculated, because it will be after initialization, it will start to recalculate and then draw correctly with space. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's do this now. So in here, what I want to do here is the following. I'm going to say here constant. I'm going to say a fit value, or at least this one will be important later on. We can say a chart chart.legend.fit. And basically what we're going to do here, because the fit here is a specific functionality in the Chartjs. So I want to grab this, put it in there, save that, refresh. You can see here, this is the whole functionality that calculates and does everything with all the values that we want to later adjust. However, this is quite complicated. All you have to understand is the following. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the values within this function, and then we're going to say we want to have the value that we want to extend the width. We do just plus 100. So we're going to bind an additional value that we add up the 100 pixels, and then we'll recalculate that function with that 100 pixels on top. So just imagine that we're going to say we're going in this same function and just adjust a new the value or update the value with some other pixel amount, and that will eventually adjust the entire chart. So what we're going to do here then is the following. Go to say chart.legend.fit. So you might say, why are we not using fit value? For some reason, this doesn't work. So you have to read like this, or else it just won't work. So I'm going to say a function fit, and then in here, curly braces, then what we're going to say here, fit value dot bind. And the bind object is basically bind a value with an existing value in there, so we can recalculate or add on. And that's what we're doing here. So we're going to say you bind. And what are we going to bind? Well, specifically in the chart legend. We're going to be in the chart legend, but this is just only one part, and eventually what we need to do is we need to go to the dot width. However, we're going to leave it like this, and then in here, we're going to put in here these parentheses, semicolon, enter. Now what I want to do is, we're going to get the let value of width. So I'm going to say let width, and the width will be equals to this width, whatever that was currently in the legend. There was 136 pixels, if I'm not mistaken. And I say plus equal 100 pixels. Once we did this, what I can do now is to say return width, and then save this, refresh. There we are. So now we have pushed this nicely, and you can see here this works, but you can see here something is not 100% appealing, because I want this basically to the right side. So how do we do this? Well, you might say, all right, I can just do here, probably in the legend, comma, I'm going to say here, labels object, and then what you're going to do here is we say here, text, align, and all we have to do here is say right. If I save this, refresh, you see we have a problem here. So this problem cannot be solved in any other way than our creative way. So I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do. First of all, if you click on this right now, you can see here our on click, this has an issue. So this of course is not 100% a suitable way. So what we need to do here, first of all, we have to change one of the items here. So, or what I'm going to do here is basically I'm going to play here differently. I'm going to say this back to left, save that, refresh. Alright, so now we have this still. Then what I'm going to do here is a comma, and in this comma I'm going to say here the following. Sorry, that's not in here, sorry, not in the labels. Although we can change the point style if you think that it will be the issue, but that's not the case. It's not the issue. The real issue here is the position or the way it works. It doesn't have the margin here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say RTL. Basically what we're going to do is we're going from right to left. And what we're going to say here then is set on true. And when we do this, save that, it will move here. And as you can see here now, we basically have created our very creative option here. You can see this is just a creative option. It's not the most official way. So once we have this, we can even add up here another item to see if it works nicely. If we add up another data set, that's a weekly cost, and let's make this a different color, save that, refresh. Alright, now you click on that, there you are. So this is basically a clever workaround. It's not 100% official, but the best way to do it here. So if you enjoyed this video and maybe you want to, for example, instead of clicking on it, you want to make this a fading effect, so you customize the legend, in that case, I would highly recommend you to explore this one here on how to change the legend effect to shade and unshade instead of a strike through in Chartjs.